PMP exam practice questions with explanations are available in the video for you to study. A software project using an agile approach is facing quality issues with every release, generating many production problems. What should the project manager do to fix the problem and improve the quality? A. Seek extra funding approval with the sponsor to replace junior team members for more experienced ones. B. Create a reward system granting incentives to the team members who are able to catch more defects. C. Hire an external company to add an additional layer of testing, making sure that the final product is well inspected before releasing. D. Use the retrospective meeting to better understand the root cause of the quality problems and put together a plan with the team to address the problems. The answer is D. The retrospective meeting is a key practice in Agile methodology that allows the team to inspect and adapt their processes and performance after each iteration. The retrospective meeting helps the team to identify what went well, what went wrong, and what can be improved in the next iteration. By using the retrospective meeting, the project manager can facilitate a collaborative and constructive discussion with the team to find out the root cause of the quality issues and devise a plan to fix them. The plan may include actions such as implementing better engineering practices, enhancing communication and collaboration, increasing testing coverage, or applying feedback from customers and stakeholders. The retrospective meeting also helps the team to learn from their mistakes, celebrate their successes, and foster a culture of continuous improvement. 123. An Agile project is running its 5th iteration out of 8 after the last iteration planning. The team was informed that there is a new competitor in the market and it is necessary to move faster to ensure market share is not missed. What should the project manager do? A. Add the competitor's functionalities to the product backlog to improve the product. B. Ask the sponsor to add more people to the team. C. Help the team to find a new approach to launch the product as soon as possible. D. Ask the team to increase the velocity to launch the product as soon as possible. The answer is C. According to the Agile Practice Guide, one of the principles of Agile project management is to respond to change over following a plan. 1. This means that Agile teams should be able to adapt to changing requirements and market conditions, and deliver value to the customer as quickly as possible. Adding the competitor's functionalities to the product backlog, option A, may not be the best way to respond to change, as it may increase the scope and complexity of the project, and delay the delivery of the product. Asking the sponsor to add more people to the team, option B, may also not be effective, as it may disrupt the team dynamics and communication, and cause the Brooks's law effect, which states that adding manpower to a late software project makes it later. Asking the team to increase the velocity to launch the product as soon as possible, option D, may compromise the quality and sustainability of the product, and put undue pressure on the team. Therefore, the best option is to help the team to find a new approach to launch the product as soon as possible, option C, which may involve prioritizing the most valuable features, reducing the technical debt, applying lean principles, and collaborating with the customer and other stakeholders. During the development of a product, the project manager observes conflicts between project stakeholders, resulting in deliverable and output approval delays. On which area should the project manager focus? A. Revisiting the project management plan to ensure deliverables are on time. B. Increasing the frequency of project update meetings to keep stakeholders informed. C. Revisiting the stakeholder engagement plan, focusing on specific overlooked stakeholders. D. Reviewing the business case and identifying gaps within scope. The answer is C. According to the PMBOK Guide, a stakeholder engagement plan is a document that identifies the current and desired levels of stakeholder engagement, and the strategies and actions to increase or maintain stakeholder support throughout the project. A stakeholder engagement plan is an essential tool for managing stakeholder expectations, addressing stakeholder concerns, and resolving stakeholder conflicts. Conflicts between project stakeholders can result in delays, rework, scope changes, or even project failure. Therefore, the project manager should focus on revisiting the stakeholder engagement plan, focusing on specific overlooked stakeholders, to identify the root causes of the conflicts and the best ways to engage them. By doing so, the project manager can improve the stakeholder relationships, align the stakeholder interests, and facilitate the deliverable and output approval process. During the execution of a project within an operations function, the project manager encounters scope changes and a delay in the delivery of critical tasks. How should the project manager address this situation? A. Communicate the concerns to the Project Management Office, PMO, during the weekly project reports. B. Call for a team meeting to decide if the changes should be included. C. Initiate the change request to modify the scope and adjust the timelines. D. Conduct an impact analysis and present the results to the steering committee for approval. The answer is C. The project manager should initiate the change request to modify the scope and adjust the timelines. This is because the project manager is responsible for managing the project scope and ensuring that the project delivers the agreed outcomes within the approved budget and schedule. When the project manager encounters scope changes and a delay in the delivery of critical tasks, they should follow the change management process as defined in the project management plan. This process involves initiating a change request that describes the proposed changes, their impact, and their justification. The change request should then be submitted to the appropriate authority, such as the Change Control Board or the Steering Committee, for review and approval. The project manager should also update the project documents, such as the scope baseline, the schedule baseline, and the cost baseline, to reflect the approved changes. The project manager should communicate the changes and their implications to the relevant stakeholders, such as the project team, the PMO, the sponsor, and the customer. During the implementation phase of a construction project, the customer asked a key subcontractor to deliver a work package ahead of time. The subcontractor was not prepared for it and asked the project manager for additional budget. What should the project manager do first? A. Ask upper management for more funds and update the project budget. B. Revise the project scope accordingly to cope with the budget changes. C. Update the risk register and project log, and manage the budget closely. D. Submit a change request to accelerate the project as requested. The answer is D. According to the Project Management Professional, PMP, reference materials, The project manager should submit a change request to accelerate the project as requested by the customer when the key subcontractor asked for additional budget. This is because a change request is a formal proposal to modify any document, deliverable, or baseline of the project one. In this case, the change request would affect the project schedule, cost, and scope baselines, as well as the contract terms with the subcontractor. Therefore, the project manager should follow the change control process to document, analyze, approve, and implement the change request too. The other options, A, B, and C, are not the first actions that the project manager should take. Asking upper management for more funds and updating the project budget may not be feasible or necessary without a proper justification and approval of the change request. Revising the project scope to cope with the budget changes may not satisfy the customer's needs or expectations, and may also require a change request. Updating the risk register and project log, and managing the budget closely are important activities, but they are not sufficient to address the change request and its implications. A project manager is implementing a new software system. Some department staff members are questioning the necessity of the change and feel the new system will impede their current processes. What should the project manager have done at the start of the project to prevent this resistance? A. Created a communications management plan that outlined the method of communicating to stakeholders. B. Ensured that the company culture encourages changes before accepting the project. C. Encouraged leadership to discuss the change with departments that are typically resistant to change. D. Involved stakeholders from all levels of the company so everyone understands the change. The answer is D. According to the PMBOK Guide, stakeholder involvement is a key factor for successful change management. Stakeholders are individuals or groups who can affect or be affected by the project outcomes. By involving stakeholders from all levels of the company, the project manager can ensure that everyone understands the need, benefits, and impacts of the change. This can help to reduce resistance, increase buy-in, and foster collaboration among the stakeholders. Additionally, by involving stakeholders early and often, the project manager can solicit their feedback, address their concerns, and incorporate their suggestions into the project plan. This can enhance the quality and acceptance of the project deliverables and outputs. Furthermore, by involving stakeholders from all levels of the company, the project manager can leverage their influence, expertise, and resources to support the project execution and implementation. This can improve the project performance and increase the likelihood of achieving the project objectives. An external project manager is managing the construction of new corporate offices for a large company. The project management plan states that it is necessary to contract a highly trained external resource to revise and validate an important project component. The client has rejected hiring the external resource because of the high cost even though it is within the project budget. What should the project manager do to resolve this issue? A. Hire the resource in order to achieve the project objectives. B. Ask the client for a meeting and explain that the task will not be performed. C. Evaluate the consequences and meet with the client to explain the possible scenarios. D. Try to accomplish the task internally by leveling resources from other projects. The answer is C. The project manager should evaluate the consequences and meet with the client to explain the possible scenarios. This is because the project manager needs to balance the competing demands of scope, time, cost, quality, and stakeholder satisfaction. The project manager should not hire the resource without the client's approval, as this would violate the terms of the contract and the trust relationship. The project manager should not ask the client for a meeting and explain that the task will not be performed, as this would compromise the project objectives and quality standards. The project manager should not try to accomplish the task internally by leveling resources from other projects, as this would create risks and dependencies for both projects and potentially affect their performance. The project manager should evaluate the consequences of not hiring the external resource, such as the impact on the project schedule, quality, scope, and risks. The project manager should also identify alternative solutions, such as negotiating with the client, finding another resource, or modifying the project plan. The project manager should then meet with the client and explain the possible scenarios, highlighting the benefits and drawbacks of each option. The project manager should seek the client's input and feedback and try to reach a mutually agreeable solution that satisfies the project requirements and the client's expectations. A new project manager was assigned to a project during implementation. The project manager realized that new tax policies are creating a risk for a cost overrun by 25%. The project manager updated the risk register and kept the project running as normal. The CEO has announced that the project could be cancelled since the acceptable cost overrun is only 20%. The project manager was quite surprised as this was new information. What should the project manager have done to avoid this? A. Ensured the risk tolerance of the company was properly updated. B. Implemented the communications management plan properly. C. Implemented the stakeholder engagement plan correctly. D. Provided a proper risk response. The answer is B. The project manager should have implemented the communications management plan properly to avoid this situation. The communications management plan is a component of the project management plan that defines how the project information will be communicated to the stakeholders, such as the frequency, format, content, and methods of communication. The project manager should have followed the communications management plan to inform the CEO and other relevant stakeholders about the new tax policies and their impact on the project cost, as well as the updated risk register and the proposed risk responses. This would have enabled the project manager to manage the expectations of the stakeholders, address their concerns, and seek their support and approval for the project continuation. The project manager should have also used effective communication skills, such as active listening, feedback, and conflict resolution, to ensure a clear and mutual understanding of the project status and issues. By communicating the project information properly, the project manager could have avoided the surprise and potential cancellation of the project by the CEO. At the end of a project with multiple suppliers, the project manager is reviewing the closing process and finds that an unexpected financial balance is remaining. What will help the project manager understand why this has occurred? A. Project audit. B. Lessons learned. C. Organizational process assets. D. Procurement audit. The answer is D. A procurement audit is a structured review of the procurement process and the contracts that were established with the suppliers. It evaluates the performance of the suppliers, the compliance with the contract terms and conditions, the quality of the deliverables, and the effectiveness of the procurement management. A procurement audit can help the project manager understand why there is an unexpected financial balance remaining at the end of the project, by identifying any errors, discrepancies, overpayments, or underpayments that occurred during the procurement process. A procurement audit can also provide recommendations for future improvements and lessons learned. The other options are not the best ways to understand why there is an unexpected financial balance remaining, because they may not focus on the procurement aspect of the project, or they may not provide enough detail or analysis to explain the cause of the issue. Some members of a project team are frustrated by a new team member who previously worked in a Scrum setting. This new team member approaches members of the project team on a daily basis in what appears to be an attempt to engage in individual stand-up meetings. What should the project manager do? A. Schedule a meeting for the project team to review the communications management plan. B. Tell the rest of the project team to continue discussions with the new team member. C. Send an email to the project team outlining the communications strategy. D. Mentor the new team member on the methodology the project team is using. The answer is D. The project manager should mentor the new team member on the methodology the project team is using. The new team member may be used to the Scrum approach, which involves daily stand-up meetings where each team member reports their progress, challenges, and plans for the day. However, the project team may be following a different methodology that does not require such frequent and informal communication. The project manager should explain to the new team member the rationale, benefits, and expectations of the chosen methodology, and how it differs from Scrum. The project manager should also provide feedback and guidance to the new team member on how to adapt to the new work environment and collaborate effectively with the rest of the team. By mentoring the new team member, the project manager can help them integrate into the project team and reduce the frustration and confusion among the team members. 123.